Hello and welcome to the activity 2. We have looked at tables, so we are going to look at how to evidence validation rules. So this is really important in terms of how you support your evidence to the exam board, as I am of strong opinion that you know how to do it, but making sure you evidence it correctly. I understand there is a few things to think about, but it's really important that you do this in such a way that will allow you to gain the marks for the work that you have done. So what you will get, you will need to make sure you open activity 2, looking at the last video. I've put evidence of some tables and the setup there, and you will need to make sure that you put your evidence of your print screens under each of these subheadings. Okay, so let's go to an example which has got full marks. So this just demonstrates, and don't forget, all validation rules must be print screened in design view, and they must show the field which it is applicable to, and you must also show evidence to support the validation rule, and the validation text must be added. Under no circumstances should you print screen this in datasheet view. That's when all the data is on the screen. So in terms of the presence check, I'm not going to show you how to do this, but I'm sure you know how to do this by now. So you write in is not null, and you write some validation text that the user will read if they leave it blank. Again, the length and format check has been put on the same print screen, so if you remember from your assignment, there is a certain format for your email, so that has evidence to show that. But importantly, because that may not appear on the next exam, the field size is where you reduce the field size from 155, which must be done on text fields only. You can actually do the field size and the presence check on one print screen as long as it shows it clearly. The value lookup is a drop down menu, so quickly just to remind you how to do a drop down menu. So you need to find a common field that has a certain list of numbers. So if you take that to design view, just to quickly recap, we want numbers, I think it was 2, 3 and 4 in there. Lookup wizard, you'll type in the values I want, and then what you want to appear on each drop down menu needs to be added to a different row, and it's a simple process of just pressing next and then finish. Importantly, under no circumstances show it in datasheet view. Have a look at the lookup section in the design view, and then this here is your supporting evidence, where my cursor is, of that you have set it up correctly, and it's this that you need to print screen as part of your evidence if we have a look here. Okay, so table lookups, what they help you to do is they ensure that the data added in the ID fields is correct, so it's accurate. So both data that is added to as a primary key and a foreign key is the same, because if you have a number that is outside the range, so say for example in your primary key field you've only got 3 students, 1, 2, 3, and you try and add the number 4 in the foreign field, that obviously would recognize that that is incorrect. So quickly, just to remind you how to set these up, so let me get rid of all these tables that have been opened, so I will get rid of those, and you will need to go through to your correct table. Okay, now the way I'm going to identify which table I am going to put in and which field I'm going to put my foreign key in, so if I just take out these relationships, here we go, put them back in later, you should identify that when we're linking these tables together, that the primary key is obviously the field with the primary key in, and then the foreign key is the field in which the data will go to. So for example, in here, if I wanted to link my subject ID, so the subject ID in class, okay, let me just do that quickly so you can see it. You'll be able to identify that obviously that is the primary key and that is the foreign key. Okay, so the one with the infinity sign is always the foreign key. So let me just get rid of that. So I know that when you do a table lookup, it has to go to the subject ID, has to come from the subject ID. So I would just quickly show you how to do that. So if we go look at the class table and we're looking at the subject ID, open that up into design view, and then it's a simple process again. You keep that as it is because we are looking at another table, and I am going to link that to the subject table, bring that across, press next, and then finish it. Okay. What that then does is that it will then coordinate the two numbers entered into that field. And again, you need to print the screen this in design view. So as per the example, there is evidence to support in the lookup field of the design view that that has been completed, and that is a requirement to provide that evidence. You need to make sure that they are print screened on the correct and under the correct heading, and obviously once you have done that, you then need to make sure you print to PDF and save that in the correct folder. In terms of a format check, I have added onto Teams, and this has been there for a while, a link to a website which has lots of different options in terms of a format check. Don't forget that you can always use your input mask if you are struggling